My name is Callista Renford, and for as long as I can remember, I've believed that moments, the real ones, are fragile things. They slip away faster than breath on a mirror. Maybe that's why I obsessed over capturing every detail of my wedding day in Miami. The soft peach sky, the ocean breeze threading through my hair, the way my husband, Rowan, looked at me like he was seeing a miracle. So I did what every bride does. I hired a photographer I trusted, or thought I trusted. Her name was Delaney Shaw, and everyone spoke of her like she was untouchable in the Miami wedding scene. She had the portfolio, the charm, the glowing reviews. When she walked into the cafe for our first meeting, wearing a linen jumpsuit and confidence like perfume, I felt instantly at ease. "I don't just take pictures," she told me with a warm smile. "I capture stories." I believed her. God, I wish I hadn't. The wedding itself, it was perfect, or at least as perfect as real life ever gets. Waves crashing softly behind us, the sunlight shimmering across the water, my dress flowing like salt-kissed silk. Delaney moved like a ghost, silent and precise, never interrupting, always watching. She seemed to anticipate moments before they even happened. Rowan's hand reaching for mine, my father wiping a tear during his speech, my friends cheering as sparklers lit the night sky. I remember thinking, these photos will be priceless. My children will look at them one day, my grandchildren. But 2 weeks after the wedding, everything shattered. I was sitting on the balcony of our condo, legs curled beneath me, coffee cooling beside my hand, when her email pinged. I opened it casually, expecting a link, a gallery, a promise fulfilled. Instead, I saw one sentence. "Callista, I'm so sorry, and your entire gallery was lost due to a corrupted drive." At first, my brain refused to understand. I reread the message. A third time. A fourth. Every time the same words stared back at me like a punch I couldn't dodge. Lost, corrupted, gone. My throat tightened. The wind suddenly felt too loud. I dialed her number with shaking hands. She picked up on the second ring, voice dripping with sympathy. "Callista, I'm devastated. I tried every recovery tool. I took the drive to a specialist. Nothing worked. I would never let this happen intentionally." I could barely speak. "All of them? Every single one?" "Yes," she whispered. "It felt like grief, the kind that sits on your chest and steals the oxygen from your lungs." I didn't cry right away. I just sat there, numb, hearing the beach traffic below, feeling the sun burning my skin without warmth. Rowan came out and saw my face. "What's wrong?" I handed him the phone. His expression darkened as he listened. "Is there anything you can salvage?" he asked, her jaw clenched. "No," she repeated. "I'm truly sorry." After she hung up, I broke. My chest crumpled. My hands trembled uncontrollably. Losing those photos felt like losing the day itself. The version of us we'd been in those fleeting hours. The joy, the magic, the proof. Rowan held me, but even that comfort felt blurry and distant. "I'll recreate the day for you," he said gently. "We can take new photos." But I shook my head. "It won't be the same," because it wouldn't. Recreated moments are costumes. What we lost was real. For days, I walked around feeling hollow, like someone had scooped out the center of me and left the shell behind. Friends tried to reassure me. Accidents happen. At least the marriage is what matters. You still have your memories. But memories fade, photographs don't. Or they shouldn't. A week later, everything changed. It was midnight, and I couldn't sleep. I found myself scrolling aimlessly through Pinterest, trying to numb the ache of knowing I'd never see my own wedding day again. I searched things like Miami Beach weddings, just to torture myself a little, I guess, just to imagine what my gallery might have looked like. That's when I saw it. A photo, my photo. I froze. It was the shot of Rowan spinning me during our first dance, the fairy lights glowing like stars behind us, my dress swirling in a perfect arc. I knew that moment. I knew it in my bones. My heart slammed against my ribs. No, that's impossible. I clicked the image. It linked to a stock photo website, one of the big ones. There, beneath the thumbnail, was the title, Couple Dancing Under Outdoor String Lights, Beach Wedding. Photographer, D. Shore Visuals. My blood went cold. I clicked on the photographer's profile. Dozens of my wedding photos stared back at me. Cropped, renamed, marketed as lifestyle wedding content. Every intimate moment, every sacred memory, every shot she told me was lost forever. All of them were here, for sale. My limbs felt numb, my vision blurred with fury and disbelief. I whispered to myself, she lied. She didn't just lose them, she stole them. The betrayal cut deeper than anything I'd ever felt. This wasn't a mistake, it wasn't an accident, it was deliberate exploitation, a scam. She robbed me not only of my gallery, but of trust, of innocence, of irreplaceable moments she had no right to own. And when I saw the Downloads 327 number under one photo, our kiss under the arch, something inside me snapped. My wedding day had been sold, put on display, used by her. I sat back, heart pounding so hard it hurt, hands clenched into fists. It was then, at 12:47 a.m., that a new thought crystallized through the heartbreak. She thinks I won't fight back. She thinks I'll just accept this. She has no idea who I am. As I stared at the screen, rage hardening into resolve, I whispered, Delaney Shaw has taken the wrong bride. And that's when I saw an even more horrifying detail, one that changed everything and set my revenge in motion. There, under one of the photos, a comment. From someone I recognized, someone who should not have seen my wedding photos. I leaned in, breath trembling, and read the name. My entire body went still. No, not him. Everything inside me twisted. This wasn't just theft. This wasn't just deception. This was about to become personal. Very personal. I stared at the comment, my pulse thundering in my ears. The name glowed on the screen like a scar reopening. Nathan Calder. My ex. The man who once told me I was too much work, that my dreams were cute, and that marriage was a trap people fall into when they run out of goals. He wasn't supposed to see my wedding photos. He wasn't supposed to see me in that dress. He wasn't supposed to see the happiest moment of my life, a moment he once swore I'd never have without regretting it. His comment sat beneath a photo of Rowan dipping me under the arch of white orchids. Wow, didn't expect this one to end up here. Wild. Wild. That was all he wrote, but the subtext hit like a punch. Look at you, Callista, even your wedding ended up in a bargain bin. A hot wave of fury rose from my stomach, tightening my chest. Tears blurred the screen, but they weren't the helpless tears from before. They were sharp, electric, fueled by humiliation and rage. Rowan walked into the living room, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. Cal, it's almost 1 a.m. What are you doing? I turned the laptop toward him without speaking. He leaned in, his expression shifted, confusion to shock to something darker. She sold them, he whispered. Not just sold them, I said, my voice trembling. She's been profiting off our wedding for months. And Nathan saw them. Rowan's jaw tightened. That's Callista, this is illegal. This is theft. Not if she has some loophole in the contract, I said bitterly. I didn't read all the fine print. I trusted her. He sat beside me, placing a hand on my shoulder. Then we're going to figure it out, but first, breathe. But breathing felt impossible. All I could think about was how my private, sacred moments were now stock content, available for anyone, anywhere, to buy for $14.99. My father's tearful smile, my mother's trembling hands as she pinned my veil. The exact second Rowan saw me walking down the aisle. My memories were merchandise. I can't let her get away with this, I whispered. Rowan nodded. Then we won't. The next morning I sent Delaney a message requesting a call. She responded instantly. Delaney: "Of course, I actually wanted to talk to you anyway. I've been thinking about offering you a partial refund for the lost gallery." Me: "Call me now." Delaney: "Give me 10 minutes." 10 minutes felt like 10 hours. When she finally called, her voice was syrupy sweet. "Callista, I'm so glad you reached out. I've been feeling terrible." "Stop!" I said flatly. "I know you didn't lose the photos." Silence. A beat. Then lightly she laughed. "What do you mean?" I clicked my tongue. "I mean, I found them on a stock website with your watermark." Another silence. This one stretched. I could almost hear her calculating. "That's not possible," she said stiffly. "Oh, it's very possible," I replied. "And I have screenshots, including buy accounts." Her breathing changed, quicker, sharper, but she still tried to keep her voice calm. "Callista, you're mistaken. I would never—" "Delaney," I said softly, "don't insult me. Don't dig yourself deeper." For the first time, her tone cracked. "You don't understand the pressure I'm under," she snapped. "Clients cancel, seasons fluctuate, equipment costs—" "So you stole my wedding photos?" "I licensed them," she said defensively. "It's standard in the industry." "Not without consent," I responded, "and certainly not after telling me they were destroyed." There was a long pause before she spoke again. "Look, if you remove those screenshots and forget about this, I will refund you in full, plus an extra $500 for your trouble." I almost laughed. My memories weren't worth $500. They weren't worth $5,000. They were priceless, and she had treated them like content to be mined. "No deal," I said. "You're going to take every photo of my wedding off that platform, now." "You're not in a position to make demands," she hissed. "Those photos are in my portfolio. They're already purchased. This isn't reversible." "Then I'll contact the platform." "If you do," she said sharply, "I'll show your contract. You'll lose." I froze. "What contract?" "The one you signed," she said. "And trust me, Callista, it protects me, not you." The call ended abruptly. Rowan, who had been listening behind the door, walked in. "She sounds panicked." "She sounds guilty," I corrected. He nodded. "So what's next?" I opened my laptop again. "What's next," I murmured, "is reading every line of the contract I signed. 3 hours, 3 coffees, 17 pages of legal jargon. But on page 14, buried in tiny italic font, I found something interesting. Photographer retains discretionary rights for partial usage of non-identifiable wedding imagery. Non-identifiable, meaning silhouettes, details, objects, not faces, not people, not me. And Delaney knew that. She banked on me never reading the fine print. She assumed I would cry, accept her refund, and disappear. But she underestimated me. By the time Rowan returned with lunch, I had a plan forming. "There's a loophole," I told him. "She violated her own contract." He raised an eyebrow. "How?" "She used identifiable images, faces, full bodies, emotional moments, and she monetized them. That's illegal under her own agreement and under state commercial photography law. So we can sue." A slow smile formed on my lips. "Oh, we can do more than that." He sat beside me. "Tell me." I exhaled, fingers flying across the keyboard as adrenaline surged with a clarity I hadn't felt in days. "We're going to gather every single piece of evidence. Screenshots, URLs, download counts, metadata, reverse image searches. And then—" "And then what?" Rowan asked. "We'll file a formal complaint, not just with her, with the stock site, with the state licensing board. And then—" my voice lowered. "I will take her entire business down." Rowan looked at me, not with fear, but with admiration. "That's my wife," he whispered. But just as I started compiling the screenshots, something strange happened. The website refreshed, and every one of my photos disappeared. All of them gone. My stomach flipped. "Rowan, something's wrong." He leaned in. "What happened?" "She pulled them," I said. "But why so fast?" And then, at the top of the page, a red warning bar appeared. "This creator's account is currently under legal review." My heart stopped. "Legal review?" Rowan repeated. "From what?" I swallowed hard. because there was only one explanation. Someone else had filed a complaint. Someone who saw the same photos I did. Someone who had his own motives. I clicked the notification tab and saw the message from Nathan Calder. My blood ran cold. Nathan's name sat at the top of my notifications like a stain I couldn't scrub out. A message, short, clipped, and unmistakably him. "Callista, we need to talk. It's about the photos." My stomach tightened. Nathan never reached out unless he needed something, or wanted control. Even years later, he had a way of worming into moments where he didn't belong. Rowan, reading over my shoulder, muttered, "Why is he involved?" "I don't know," I said softly. "But if he filed a complaint before I did, then he must have seen more than just that one picture." And that thought made my skin crawl. Why was my ex scrolling through stock wedding images? How long had he been looking at them? How many had he downloaded? The questions spiraled, dark and suffocating. Rowan crossed his arms. "You don't have to respond. We can block him." I shook my head. If he knows something that helps our case, I need to hear it. But the truth was, part of me wanted to know why Nathan cared at all. He was the last person who should have access to pieces of my life, especially the happiest part. With hesitation, I typed, "What do you want?" He replied almost instantly. "Call me. This isn't something I can type." Rowan frowned. "Absolutely not." But I'd known Nathan long enough to understand one thing. He only avoided writing things down when there was something he didn't want recorded. So I wrote, "Fine, 10 minutes. When I answered the call, the first thing I heard was his exhale. Slow, practiced, a signature Nathan move. As if he wanted to set the tone. "Callista," he said, voice smooth and unsettlingly familiar. "Long time." "Cut it short," I snapped. "Why did you file a complaint on the photographer?" He paused. I imagined him leaning back in whatever expensive chair he used to impress women, steepling his fingers like he always did when he thought he controlled the room. "I didn't file a complaint because of her," he said. "I filed it because of you." My breath caught. "What the hell does that mean?" He cleared his throat. "I bought some of the photos." Silence. The kind that roars in your ears. "You what?" I whispered. He exhaled again. "I didn't know they were yours at first. I was looking for reference images for a campaign. You know my company does brand visuals." "Don't you dare justify it," I growled. "How many?" He didn't answer. "How many, Nathan?" 13, he finally said. My vision blurred with anger. 13 photos of my wedding? Of me? You bought them? Why? He hesitated, choosing his next words carefully. Nathan always chose carefully, especially when he was about to lie. "They were good shots, emotional, marketable." Marketable. My wedding day reduced to marketing material. My hand shook around the phone. "Stop talking!" But he continued anyway. "When I realised it was you, I filed the complaint. I thought the platform should know the photographer was selling identifiable images without permission." "You didn't do it for me," I said. "You did it to protect yourself because you didn't want to get caught using my photos." He didn't deny it. I let out a bitter laugh. "God, you're unbelievable." "Callista," he said, voice softening. "Listen, your wedding was beautiful. You looked—" "Don't finish that sentence." Another pause, another slow breath. He lowered his voice. "Delaney has done this before." I froze. "What?" "Your photographer. She didn't just break contract. She runs a whole operation flipping wedding galleries into stock content. She's been sued twice already. Private settlements, nothing public. And she's smart. She hides behind loopholes." "How do you know this?" I demanded. "Well, because she offered to license some of your photos exclusively to my agency." My jaw dropped. "She pitched my wedding to you? As a product?" "Yes," he said quietly. "That's when I recognized you. And when I knew something was off." My skin crawled. This wasn't just theft. This wasn't just exploitation. This was a business model. And I had been one of many victims. After the call, I sat motionless on the couch, shaking. Rowan paced the living room, hands on his hips. "Let me get this straight," he said, voice tight. "Your ex bought the photos. The photographer tried to sell him more, and she's done this to other couples." I nodded numbly. "We're dealing with a predator." Rowan knelt in front of me. "Hey, look at me." I looked. "We're going to take her down," he said. "Not just for us. For every other couple she's scammed." I swallowed hard. "I need evidence. Hard evidence." "Then we start digging." That night, I created a digital folder titled Project Shoreline, a quiet nod to the beach where I'd said my vows, and the woman who tried to sell those vows to the world. Rowan and I worked like detectives, reverse image searches, screenshotting every page, saving metadata timestamps, copying product descriptions, documenting download counts, recording Delaney's contract violations. Around 2 a.m, I found something on the stock site's public ledger. Contributor payout report, D-Shore visuals, monthly earnings, 8,274 projected quarter, 21,000 pound. My chest tightened. She didn't just accidentally upload my photos. She made a living doing it. And something told me she wasn't stopping any time soon. Rowan rubbed my back gently. "You okay?" I shook my head. "No, but I'm not collapsing again. Not this time." He kissed my forehead. "That's my girl." As he walked into the kitchen to refill our coffees, my screen refreshed again. A message from an unfamiliar account. "You're not the only bride she stole from." I frowned. Another message appeared, then another, and another. Screenshots, contracts, emotional paragraphs, faces blurred with fear and fury. An entire group of women, strangers, reaching out to me. One wrote, "We're building a case. We've been waiting for someone brave enough to lead it." My heart pounded. Was I brave? Was I a leader? Or was I just a furious bride with a broken heart? But before I could reply, a final message came through. From a username that made the hair on my arms rise. "Dear Legal Team Official." The message read, "Cease your investigation immediately, or we will pursue action." My breath hitched. Rowan returned with 2 mugs, smiling, until he saw my face. "What happened?" I turned the screen toward him. His expression darkened instantly, and all I could think was, "She knows. She knows we're coming, and she's not going down quietly." The moment I saw the message from D-Shore Legal Team Official, a cold tremor ran down my arms. The kind of chill that feels like someone just opened a door behind you. Rowan set the coffee mugs down, hard enough that one nearly spilled. "She's threatening you now?" he growled. "Us," I corrected softly, though my voice quivered. "She's threatening us." He came closer, gripping the back of my chair. "Good. That means she's scared." I wanted to feel empowered by that, but fear curled low in my stomach. People didn't create fake legal accounts unless they had something to hide, or something to lose. And Delaney Shaw clearly had both. I clicked on the profile. It wasn't a verified legal account, no links, no credentials, just a brand new username with 1 follower, probably herself. Classic intimidation tactic. Still, seeing the words, "Cease your investigation immediately," made something inside me fold for a moment. I closed my eyes, forcing air into my lungs. She can't bully you. Not again. Not like before. When I opened them, Rowan was still staring at the screen, jaw tight enough to crack. "Callista, this is exactly why we keep going." I nodded, inhaling slowly. "I know, but we need to play this smart. If she sniffed out that we're gathering evidence, she'll start covering her tracks." He glanced toward the overflowing folder on my laptop. "Then let's get ahead of her." The next morning I reached out to the group of women who had messaged me the night before. There were 8 of them, each from different states, different years, different wedding seasons. But their stories echoed mine with eerie precision. One wrote, "She told me lightning hit her equipment." Another said a virus corrupted everything but our silhouettes. Another, "She edited my face out of the photos and sold the rest." And the worst one, "She told me she never even took any pictures at all." Together, their experiences painted a picture of a woman who didn't just bend ethics, she disintegrated them. We created a group chat, and for the first time since my wedding day, I felt something other than grief or anger. I felt purpose. I typed, "We're not victims anymore. We're building a case." And they all responded with the same word. Yes, I decided to set up a Zoom meeting so we could share details in real time. Rowan insisted on joining, sitting beside me with his hand resting on my knee for support. The faces appeared one by one, tired, angry, determined. Some held infants. Some wore pajamas. One looked like she'd been crying for hours. But they all had the same look in their eyes. A fire Delaney Shaw didn't see coming. "Thank you all for being here," I began, trying to keep my voice steady. "We need to pool everything we have. Contracts, emails, photos she sold, receipts. Anything that shows a pattern." A woman named Harper nodded. "I've been waiting for this. When I tried to report her before, the platform dismissed me because I didn't have enough evidence." "We do now," I said. "Together we do." Another woman, Joy, leaned forward. "I have something you need to see." She shared her screen. A folder opened. Dozens of subfolders, each labelled with a wedding month and client initials. My breath hitched. "She didn't lose anyone's photos," Joy said. "She kept them all, sold them selectively. And look, she's been uploading new sets every week. Week after week after week. It was like watching a digital graveyard of stolen memories." "How did you get this?" Rowan asked. Joy swallowed. "She accidentally uploaded a folder structure screenshot in one of her portfolio reels. I recognised my initials. I kind of hacked around until I found the rest." I blinked. "You hacked her?" She shrugged. "After what she did to us, I'd hack her entire life if I could." The meeting erupted into nervous laughter, the first bit of levity in days. But then Harper pointed something out. "Look at the dates. These files were uploaded multiple times. She's re-uploading identical galleries under different usernames." My heart dropped. "She's laundering photos," Rowan whispered. "And she's not doing it alone," I added. "She'd need help to manage that many accounts." That's when something clicked. Nathan's voice, his warning, his company. Rowan must have seen the shift in my face because he asked, "What is it?" "She said she offered my photos to Nathan's agency," I murmured. "But what if he wasn't the only one she approached? What if there are multiple companies buying from her?" Rowan sat back, stunned. "Holy shit, she's running a commercial pipeline." "And we have to shut it down," I said. The group nodded. But shutting down a pipeline meant something bigger than a complaint. It meant legal action. It meant publicity. It meant risk. "Before we go further," I said, "we need a lawyer, someone who specialises in creative rights. I'll start calling firms tomorrow." But Harper shook her head. "I already contacted someone. He's expensive, but he said if we come in as a group, he'll take the case." "Who is he?" I asked. She hesitated. "Elias Vance." My heart skipped. Elias Vance was not just a lawyer. He was the lawyer. The one who'd taken down 2 notorious wedding vendors for fraud. The one who won cases no one else would touch. Rowan let out a low whistle. "If we get him, Delaney's finished." Before I could respond, Joy unmuted. "Callista, someone's trying to join the meeting." I frowned. "Who?" A name popped up on the screen. "D-Shore official." My blood ran cold. "She found us," Rowan whispered. "No," I said slowly, staring at the screen as a chill crawled up my arms. "She's trying to intimidate us again." My hands hovered over the trackpad. "Should I let her in?" I asked the group. Everyone's eyes widened. "No, absolutely not. She's unstable. We're not ready. She might record us." But something inside me said otherwise. Delaney didn't expect us to gather. She didn't expect resistance. She didn't expect a united front. Rowan leaned closer. "Callista, you don't owe her a damn thing." "I know," I whispered, "but sometimes you learn more from the enemy when you let them speak." I hovered over the button. The group held their breath. My finger clicked. The screen flashed. And then, instead of Delaney's face, a man appeared. Not Delaney, not a lawyer, not a stranger. Someone I hadn't seen in years. My heart slammed against my ribs. It was Nathan. Nathan's face appeared on the screen, illuminated by the cool light of his office. Behind him, his company logo glowed faintly, a reminder of the world he'd built after leaving me behind. A hush fell over the Zoom call. No one spoke, not the other women, not Rowan, not me. Nathan broke the silence first. "Callista," he said quietly, "I need you to listen." My pulse throbbed in my throat.
"Why are you using Delaney's username? Where is she?"
He exhaled sharply. "Because this isn't her account. It's one of the burner usernames she used to pitch galleries to agencies. I confronted her last night. Things escalated." A murmur rippled through the group. Rowan leaned toward the microphone.
"What do you mean, confronted? What did you do?"
Nathan's jaw tightened.
"Relax! Nothing illegal. But when I found out just how many galleries she'd stolen, how many couples she manipulated, I told her I was pulling my company from all future licensing with her. She panicked and tried to delete everything. So you're telling me," I said slowly, "that you, of all people, are helping us?" He shifted, eyes flicking away for a second. That alone told me the truth. Nathan Calder never helped anyone unless it benefited him. "I'm not helping," he said. "I'm protecting my agency. If this scandal leaks and my company is tied to her, I lose millions. My investors walk. My reputation collapses." I almost laughed. "So this is self-preservation?"
"Yes," he admitted, "but it aligns with your goals." The other women exchanged glances. Harper spoke up. "Then what do you want from us?" Nathan leaned closer to the camera, lowering his voice. "I have access to something you don't. Delaney's internal client log. Every gallery she uploaded, every photo she sold, every pseudonym she used, all of it." My heart skipped. "You have her entire operation mapped?" I asked. He nodded once. "And she knows I have it. She tried to threaten me too, but she doesn't have the leverage she thinks she does." Rowan let out a bitter laugh.
"Oh, she absolutely does. She's been threatening us all morning."
Nathan's expression sharpened.
"Callista, she's not working alone. That's what you still don't understand."
The room went still. My stomach twisted.
"Explain!"
Nathan rubbed his forehead. "Delaney partners with an offshore content house, a distribution ring that specializes in wedding and lifestyle imagery. They take stolen galleries, relabel them, and sell them to ad agencies worldwide. She gets a cut. They get the rest." Joy gasped.
"So she's not just a photographer, she's a supplier."
"Exactly," Nathan said. "She's part of something much bigger than her little business in Miami. If she goes down alone, they'll just recruit another photographer. If you want justice, you have to take down the whole pipeline." The weight of his words settled like concrete over the group. This wasn't just a revenge story anymore. This was a takedown. But one thing still gnawed at me. "Why tell me all this?" I asked. Nathan hesitated, something he never did. "I owe you," he finally said. I blinked. "For what?" "For being right about me," he murmured. "Back then, when you said I only cared about winning, you weren't wrong." His voice cracked, just enough that Rowan stiffened beside me. "You said one day I'd lose something I couldn't buy back," Nathan continued. "I didn't believe you. But maybe I finally understand." The group stayed silent, waiting. Nathan looked directly at me. "You have the one thing Delaney never expected. A network of victims and a clear paper trail. I can give you the final missing piece. The one thing that will destroy her entire empire."
"What is it?"
I breathed. He reached off screen, then returned holding a small black USB drive between his fingers. "This," he said, "is her offshore payout history. Every illegal transfer, every buyer, every gallery tied to an unlicensed account." My pulse quickened. That was the smoking gun. "Send it," Rowan demanded. "I will," Nathan replied, "but there's a problem." Of course there was. "What problem?" I asked tightly. Nathan straightened, voice lowering. "Delaney knows I took it, and she's furious. I don't think she's in Miami anymore. She's unpredictable right now." A pit formed in my stomach. Joy whispered, "Are we in danger?" Nathan didn't answer immediately. Then he said something that shot ice through my veins. "She's coming after the brides she thinks are leading the investigation." I felt the blood drain from my face. "Which means," Nathan continued, "Callista, she's coming for you first." The screen went dead. Nathan disconnected. The Zoom call erupted, voices overlapping, panic rising, questions flying. I muted the room, turning to Rowan. He looked pale. "You're not safe." "I'm not scared," I lied. "You should be," he said, "because this woman doesn't just steal photos. She destroys lives." The doorbell rang. A sharp, jarring sound that cut straight through my chest. Once, twice, 3 times. No one we knew would visit this late. Rowan stood, eyes wide. "Stay here." "No," I whispered, clutching his arm. "Don't open it." But he moved toward the door anyway, protective instincts overpowering caution. The women in the Zoom chat were shouting, their tiny boxes lighting up with panic. But their voices sounded distant, muffled by the pounding of my heart. The doorbell rang again. Then a voice drifted through the door, muffled but chillingly familiar. "Callista, it's Delaney. We need to talk." My breath hitched. Rowan froze mid-step. The group fell dead silent. Delaney knocked softly this time. Too softly, too controlled. "Please open up," she said sweetly. "I think there's been a misunderstanding." I clutched Rowan's arm, whispering, "Don't let her in." But then we heard the unmistakable sound of metal sliding, the door handle turning. "From the outside,"